Hi everyone and welcome to the latest Smart Talk. Today I have got with me a chap by the name of Jayson Saba, and we are going to speak today on the topic of engagement through to experience. Jayson, thanks for joining us, and would you like to introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for being a great host here, Jared. My name is Jayson Saba. I lead product marketing at Kronos, a global HCM company. Prior to Kronos, I did a similar job at Ceridian, and before that, I was an analyst covering the space. I would confess, I'm a former practitioner as well in the area of HR, and that's how I got into the technology area. I love that tech side of it.
Brilliant. So I think there'll be some great insights here today. So recently in a conversation that we had, you said that you saw the market shifting from engagement to experience. Would you like to unpack that a little bit for us, please, Jayson?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to be clear, I don't believe employee engagement is going away, but I feel like if you start the conversation with employee engagement, you're automatically or immediately starting with the needs of the company. You know, the organization wants better retention, they want better productivity, they want more discretionary effort, to use a conventional term here. I still believe engagement it will still be a focus, but engagement is an outcome of a great employee experience. And I think this is how we need to delineate. We have to look at each step of the journey and look at how we can impact it as a company and even as managers. And then engagement will be an outcome of that.
Yeah, no, great thinking. And I guess what we're really saying is that experience sort of sits at a level way above engagement, and you really need to get that experience right to make sure that the engagement is there.
Yeah, absolutely. Understanding how people work, whether it's individually or part of a team, what matters to them, what helps them do meaningful work at every step of every juncture in their journey at the company, like that's the experience, and engagement is a byproduct of that. You're exactly right.
Sure. So how do you make sure that the experience is Uber-like? How do you make sure that that experience for your people in your organization is very seamless, is frictionless, as some people like to put it?
Yeah, and it's a great question, and I give this some thought. And if you think, to me, when you think Uber, I think personalization and I think empowerment. Allowing some examples would be allowing them to donate their time off to other employees, empower them to create a schedule through swapping shifts. We've done some research here at the Kronos Workforce Institute. You ask any manager operationally or supervisor, they want employees to figure it out in terms of which shifts do you want your colleague to take, which shifts do you want, and let them deal with that themselves. So there's that part of it. The second part of it, I think it's also making sure the managers are equipped to to empower employees and to focus on the experience. So to me, that means two things. We look at managers traditionally from a performance review standpoint, it's what you do for us. We need to look at how we do things for the employees. So there is that, and then how we do that with other teams. That's, to me, it will kind of cover the full journey of the employee life cycle. I think the managers being incentivized and being metriced, whether it's bonus or any type of variable comp on how we do things with employees and on their team and other teams are a huge part of this. And we do that at Kronos. We have an effectiveness index. We used to call it the manager effectiveness index. Now we call it the Kronite effectiveness index, because it's no longer about the manager down. It's also how employees work among each others.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And I think for me, the empowerment is really key, because people like to feel that they're valued, and empowerment is an incredible way of someone being valued within the organization. So
Absolutely. You talk about the gig economy, the Uber kind of gig economy thing. If employees want to pick up other gigs, why can't they pick up other gigs at your company? Like, I know right now there are laws that, okay, you have to work certain hours, there's some overtime things, and not taking advantage of the employees. But I feel like someday we're able to adjust our laws. So today I'm doing product marketing now with you, talking to you. But if I want to do something else over a weekend, and if there's an opportunity to do it at Kronos or a Kronos customer, why shouldn't I be able to do that? Because I know how things get done here, and you'll get more value out of me than an external gig worker you hire off of a project, Upwork or one of those sites.
Yeah, that's right, and highly relevant skills. So the next thing I'd like to get your views on is how are social platforms going to play a role in the experience layer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll start with looking at the traditional organizational hierarchy, and I think any research we pick up today tells you that hierarchy is pretty much dead. So there's more democratization of ideas, there's more collaboration happening, and then I will look at another step, like what does social media come into that kind of new paradigm? And it's in two ways. You have the internal social media where we go and recognize people, we'll give them high fives on Chatter or some other tools that we have, do fundraising and help them with their causes, whatever that looks like, on top of the your traditional collaboration around work and deliverables and so forth cross-functionally. The second part of it is this external social media, where tools like Glassdoor now are shedding more light on how things are done at a company. There's an app called Blind. If you know a little bit about Blind, Jared, this is an app that was founded for people anonymously to talk about what's happening in their organization. So things like some of the harassment issues that came up at, I think, Uber and Google, and some discrimination things that came up at some big companies were uncovered through anonymous feedback on Blind. So to me, social media is shedding more light in what's happening inside companies versus that facade that they put out. Because we both work at companies where they're quote unquote great places to work, and they're winning all sorts of awards, and the HR person has this great engagement survey or employee stat survey, but not everybody's feeling those, and they could be compartmentalized within certain groups, and it's not consistent. So social media is really shedding that light on what's happening inside a company, and I think it's going to change how people do things today.
Yeah, for me, it's the transparency that comes around it. And I was reading an article this morning that a couple of the top 10 places to work on Glassdoor are now no longer in there anymore. So it was an interesting article to read.
Well, a new press release came out today. Kronos has achieved its highest score ever on Glassdoor in this top 100 places to work. So we're proud of that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So my final question is just one piece of practical advice that you'd give to an organisation looking to improve experience for their people.
Yeah, I gave this a little bit of thought, and I'll go back to what I said earlier about, holding people accountable to how they do things and not just what they do. We can use surveys to determine how well they collaborate. Are they trustworthy? Are they inclusive? Are they good stewards of the company or the team? And really make it clear to them that whatever the company looks at from a performance standpoint has even more to do with the how over the what. Mandate managers to get feedback from outside their immediate teams. Gather that insight from where the individuals are collaborating, because everything right now is a deliverable-based cross-functional project. So in my opinion, really start looking at how people are working and creating a better workplace all around them versus just what. And I think we can definitely do that practically using feedback from across the organization and using some of the incentives and the tools that we have at our disposal.
Fantastic. Jayson Saba, thank you very much. From engagement to experience. Pleasure speaking with you today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I look forward to our next one.